everybody, it's Romania Black, and I can't wait. We're on episodes 7 and 8 of Hunter x Hunter, and yeah, I'm glad that episodes 1 and 2 are out on Patreon, but I'm recording ahead because I just probably can't stop, right? So I just need to keep recording Hunter x Hunter because I want to keep watching, and it's been a few days since I watched episodes 5 and 6, and I was like, but I could go ahead since my winter break is starting and go ahead and watch 7 and 8, so here we are. I do have a couple comments, though, that I want to dive into before we start this episode. First of all, Generation Wumbo made known that one cute bonus note about Kiko Han, who voices Mito. The voice actor for Mito, who is Gon's aunt in the anime, is the mother of Megumi Han, who voices Gon. So Gon and Gon's aunt are voiced by a mother and daughter. That is so freaking cool. And that makes the hug scene in episode 1 even better. It's like, oh, I'm just imagining them in the anime studio voice acting, and Mito's voice actress and Gon's voice actress are like being able to hug it out as mother-daughter. That's so freaking good. That's so freaking good. I don't think Mito is Gon's actual mom. Don't think that's the case, but that's awesome. I love that so much. So speaking of voice actor information, we get quite a bit of it. Wim, for episodes 1 and 2, says, thanks for reminding me that Hunter x Hunter's mangaka is married to Sailor Moon's mangaka. The power couple that they are. Yes, indeed. I'm not sure about some other mangakas you mentioned, but Togashi is good friends with Kishimoto, who is the mangaka of Naruto. Someone in the Discord or the comments said there were a lot of Naruto references in Hunter x Hunter. Now look, my relationship with Naruto is kind of a weird thing. My brother was a big Naruto fan, and he watched all the anime episodes. He read all the manga. I've seen some of the anime for Naruto. I have read all of it, but I read all of Naruto in like 1 week while I was sick with the flu in college. So I distinctly remember I had come home from college. I'd caught like type B flu. I was sick all week. I couldn't barely get out of bed. And so I was like literally on my laptop, just clicking the scroll button and reading Naruto on a fan site like for a week. And so I got through the whole manga then. So my knowledge of Naruto is fuzzy, to say the least. But I know the big gist of it, right? I know the big gist of it. But anyway, they also add that Leorio is actually voiced by Keiji Fujiwara, the same VA as Maze Hughes. So my Full Metal Alchemist reference was on the nose. Leorio and Hughes have the same VA? Shut up. Love that. You were spot on by saying Leorio should be in Full Metal Alchemist. There we go. Keiji Fujiwara sadly passed away from cancer in 2020 at the age of 55. R.I.P. 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 Keiji Fujiwara. That's really sad. Also, happy to dive in some other voice actor information. Gon is voiced by Megumi Han, who voices Momiji from Fruits Basket, Mei Mei and young Jinshi from Apothecary Diaries. Cool times. And Makoto Kurume from Skip and Loafer, and Miki from Devilman Crybaby. Kurapika is voiced by Miyuki Sawashiro, who voices Shion in Psycho-Pass. Hell yeah, she does. Daki from Demon Slayer. Okay, I've seen season 2 of Demon Slayer, so I know who Daki is. That's cool. Hanako Koyanagi from Wotakoi. The fact that Kurapika's voice actress is Koyanagi from Wotakoi that I'm watching right now, wild times. That's so cool. Now I gotta listen especially well. Olivia from Sun and Moon, and Beatrice from Over the Garden Wall. And then Leorio's voice actor also voices May Hughes. Hannes from Attack on Titan, even though Hannes' voice actor, I guess that makes sense because Hannes' voice actor in Attack on Titan was replaced because they passed. That makes sense. Byakuya Ishigami from Dr. Stone, which I've read the Dr. Stone manga. I've seen season 1 of the anime. Togani from Psycho-Pass. Oh, wow! So Kurapika and Leorio's voice actors are Togani and Shion from Psycho-Pass. That's wild. Oh, wow, cool. Okay, that's cool. Aizawa from Death Note. Boss from Mob Psycho. Oh, the biker gang. Okay. And then Mewtwo and Smash Brothers. Leorio's voice actor being Mewtwo from Smash Brothers is... I'm loving all these Pokemon connections, to be fair. So Kurapika's voice actress has a Pokemon connection, too. Wild. And then Mito's voice actress... Wow, really? Plays not only Luna from Sailor Moon, but also Queen Beryl. I didn't realize they were the same voice actresses. Are we talking the Crystal version or like the OG version? That's crazy. Luna and Beryl? How bizarre. Crazy. And then the captain is voiced by Kenji Utsumi, who plays Armstrong in Full Metal Alchemist, and also does the Japanese dub voice for Tony the Tiger. Gon is great! I freaking love that. That's amazing. So that's freaking badass. I love it. Okay, well, thank you, Wim, for all of that voice actor information. Love that. That's great. I'm so excited to dive into everybody's comments. The mods are going to be checking to make sure that we don't get too far ahead of ourselves, right? Because I am going to be looking at the manga and all that jazz and la la la. But I am really excited to get into episodes 7 and 8. So thank you all so much for the comments. Thank you for the kind words. Everybody so far says they're liking the format, that we're doing 2 episodes a week, and this format is working for everyone. So based on what I've heard from Patreon, we're just going to keep up at it. So I'm going to try to make sure that I tag the spoiler corner, because I don't want somebody like watching and then being like, but I want to tag the spoiler corner, make sure that's right. And then also make sure that we get everything like time-stamped right in the video. That should all be good. So, honestly, I thought that the editing on these would be a lot more than they are. The editing only gets crazy when I don't use Whiteboard Kun. Last week, I didn't have Whiteboard Kun, and editing the screenshots does get a little tedious, but it's worth it because, like I was telling, I think it was Lyndon on Patreon, if I'm not using Whiteboard Kun to break down things, then doing the screenshots I think is helpful, because then that way it shows you all kind of where I'm at in my thought process and where in the episode I'm drawing from. So hopefully that works out. But anyway, so I've got these headphones ready. I'm all set to go. I think we should get started here and not waste any more time. So we are going to get started on episodes 7 and 8 of Hunter x Hunter, and we are going to dive right into that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's do it to it, Lars. Yeah. Oh, wow. And there's the dinosaur that they found in the marsh. So likely we're going to see all of these monsters and treasures as we go through. Okay. The evil enclaves, the vistas that we explore. Uh-huh. Yeah, these incredible folks drawn to that magic, y'all. As hunters. The Hunter Association. I mean, I am assuming we have this... opening for this entire arc, because I don't think it does cores for the 26 episodes that we have it. And then after that, we'll obviously get a new OP. Man, you really don't think about how much that poncho that Kurapika is wearing really covers a lot. Really ties that outfit together. Oh man, I feel like Killua is about to go get some Burger King. I also love that Killua always just runs with his hands in his pocket. Super cute. Yeah, Nereto looks super creepy and super suspicious in that shot. Thank goodness that Gon rescued Leorio. Ha! Again, Killua's like not going to use any hands. Hisoka. Good to wait, little guy. Yep. All right, so we got our boiled eggs. Got that all taken care of. The joy of discovering. Don't let it get addictive. Showdown on the airship. Okay, I remember nothing at this point of the series. I talked about it in the spoiler corner last week, but I'm a little like, what are we doing now? This series kind of reminds me of a Danmai a little bit, and I'm going to talk about it in the discussion. Third phase. The 42. Yeah, Netero. Beans! The Secretary Beans! He is literally an edamame. Uh-huh. Wait until the final exam, huh? Oh, look! Hisoka's right next to Hellraiser. Can you feel it calling in the air tonight? Oh, no. Ha ha ha! Don't sound like Anzai-sensei, mother trucker. Beans! I freaking love it. Little beans. Put them in my pocket. Serve them some soy sauce later. Let's go play hide and seek. Right? No joke. They're like little Saiyans. In the same bed? Who's going? How many more phases are there? There's 8. No. They did not mention how many phases there were. 5, 6 or 7. Womp womp. Uh-huh. Buddy. Be careful. Watch out for the poison. Well, yes. Well, yes. Ah. Could be. Yeah, that would check. It's like the ship. It's like the ship. Ha! Leora is like, son of a bitch. Yep, we'll keep that in mind. Sure thing. Really? Uh-oh. Right. True. True. Aw, Kurapika's little face. That's cute. Meanwhile, these boys are... Oh, no, it's them. I love they're hanging out together. Oh. Those kids are monsters. I love Satotes. 294. Which one was 294? Oh. Are you like an... Nah, Killua. Oh, wow. Hisoka. I don't know if you noticed, but the Spanish guitar was surrounding him. Oh. Uh-huh. I just love the... No, not the tongue! Mm-hmm. I just like the idea he has a mariachi band that follows him the entire time. Sure it was, girl. So Toad's like, well, yeah, I had cards thrown at me. Ah. Yeah, he's kind of got some dark arts vibes going on. Oh, wow. Opponents worthy of respect. That's an interesting take on it. Uh-huh. An oddball, you may say. Sure, that's one way to describe it. He just lights it on fire or knocks it over. Yeah. Set him up to watch him fall. Sure. Haha, sure, Jan. He seems totally adjusted. It just needs one more X and I'd be concerned about this organization. No! With the bread in their mouths! Or no, it's meat. This reminds me of them, like, as the two kids in Jurassic Park that come back in and, like, eat at the buffet table. Oh. Pearl Jam starts playing in the background. Probably. Assassins. Both of them? Yeah, you're a riot. Yeah. Well, yeah. My dad's a negligent deadbeat. It's because they drop out. Ah. Gone's like, well, we're besties, so. A family of assassins. I mean, they did name you Killua. Fair. Uh, He's like, I wouldn't know. Oh my god! Oh god. Gone's like, haha. Oh my god! What? Insane. Oh. Did he just use hockey? Bitch. This is not the time for hockey usage on this ship. Killua's like, him. Killua's like, yeah, uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh. Gone's like, I sense some hostility. Oh. Well, that's a weird way of doing it. Also, their children. Go away, old man. It's fun! Ha! Watch the 5th part of the exam being like, just write a 5-page essay. Ooh. I don't know about entertaining. I love that Killua is trying to protect Gon at all times. What do you want, a tricycle? No. Well, that ain't gonna happen. What's the other side of it, though? If you don't pass, you gotta leave the ship. Netero. He has a bow tie in his name. He can't be trusted. Yeah, don't ever doubt an old man that seems slightly athletic in an anime. That's a long time. Glad you won't touch these kids. Thank you for staying away from them. Huh. He's just bored and playing with kids. Bizarre. In his yoga sweats. Yes, he is. Nice. Gon's like, I can't make clones. Lots of Killuas! Which is a good thing we talked about him being an assassin before this. Uh-huh. Oh my god. Oh, oh. Get your ball off your balls. Oh my god. Gon's like, I can't do anything like that. Well. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. Oh yeah, if I was an ordinary person. I want in! Tag me in! Ah! Oh! Yes, exactly. He doesn't have his fishing pole, so this puts him at a disadvantage. Ah. Oh. Oh no! Oh. Damn, poor Gon. He probably would have had it, honestly. I mean, in more ways than one. Oh my god. Really? Ahsoka and that Hellraiser making out. Ah! Yeah. Oh my god. These kids are gonna be wore out by the time you get there. Damn. Never underestimate an old man in anime. Oh my god. No, he hasn't. Oh, wow. Also, I think it's interesting that Gon... Oh! Oh! Oh, shit! Get the ball! Get the ball! Oh! Oh my god. Bitch, what? Oh. I was gonna say it's interesting that Gon's in white and Netero's in black, but Killua's in blue, so he's in neutral ground. Holy shit. Oh, Killua. Oh. Hmm. Right. Huh. Huh. Ah, I love this though. I don't care about the ball. Oh my. Gon is a little crazy. Interesting. Mm-hmm. You should not learn it. Ha! Interesting. Killua was like, I'm not in the mood. Yeah, I'm in a bad mood. He's in a bad mood. Oh, bitch. Oh, bitch. Oh, bitch. Oh, bitch. Oh, 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 I forgot about that. Oh, my God. Oh, no, Killua. Oh, my God, Killua. I remember Killua, like, getting confronted by those guys, but I did not remember him killing them. Aww. Oh. So I'll run away. Wow. Oh, is he dead? Oh, thank God. Netero was like, I didn't want to. Ah! Little baby goat! Aww. And then he's out. He's like, would have been a lot of paperwork if I'd killed that kid. Wow. Oh, okay. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. The side of the third phase. Okay. Wow. Oh, we're going to talk about that, but Killua with the veiny claw arm. Oh my God. Holy shit. I mean, when he's like, oh, my family are going to make me an assassin. I'm like, oh yeah, they really have high hopes. They literally named you Killua. Like, your name has kill in it. Like, mm-hmm. I'm so excited. We're going to go ahead and go to the next one. We're going to go ahead to the next one. And we're going to start that here in 3, 2, 1. Episode 8. Lucky number 8. 8's my lucky number, but I don't feel like the rule of 8 applies to this first arc because there are 26 episodes. So now I believe that the next arc only has 12 episodes in it, so the rule of 8 will definitely apply then, but not for this first one though. So we're just going to deal with that. I forgot how badass the old man is, and I was like, okay, all right. Yeah, that one has like a rifle, and the other one looks like they have a star on their head. I absolutely love Gon's little precociousness. I love that he wants to explore and know the world, which is... And also, they talk in this episode, we'll talk a little bit more about it in the discussion, but the idea of having an opponent, and part of being a hunter is having a rival and finding those rivalries. So for him to kind of have found a rival in Netero, and that's interesting to me. Also, we're going to talk about how Netero does not like Killua, has a lot of reservations about Killua. So we're going to talk about that. I'm interested. He has a lot of bias against the underworld, as he calls it. Intriguing. I mean, we'll definitely talk in the discussion in the spoiler corner about it. I also love the idea that Killua is this prodigy that's just kind of humbled by Gon. Super cute. They're both prodigies, but we're going to talk about it in the discussion. Mm-hmm. Yep. I got you to use... Ah! Whenever it just pops up in that little position like a freaking little daisy. Adorable. Adorable. So cute. Poor Gon. Bless his little heart. Decision by majority. Question mark. Okay. Aw, at least he put his little jacket over him. Oh God, going like a little spider monkey. I kind of remember this, but don't remember this. I remember that tower. Beans! I'm just gonna scream beans every time he pops on the screen. Trick tower. It's not a trap at all. Okay. 72 hours to reach the bottom. I do and don't remember this. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Oh, who's this bitch? Who be these bitches? I don't remember them. Quit laughing! See you again, never! Nah, man. Perhaps for no... You're not dealing with your average hunter candidate. I don't know. Yeah, my best bet be let this guy go first. Spoke too soon. You jinxed yourself. Anime jinx. Oh, bitch. Oh my God! What is this, Berserk? Nope. Nope, nope. Those flying scrotums, they'll get you. No, no. Is there like a trap door to go inside the tunnel? Maybe? Yeah, this guy's got it. This guy's on it. Yeah. Kropik and their sweet ass loafers. Oh. Uh huh. Oh. Okay. Yeah, wait a minute. Yeah. The question is, which one do you take? Yes, it should. Yes, probably. Oh. Oh. So they've got to go down one at a time. Okay. That's a good way to get split up. Yeah. I like they have faith. No hard feelings. You. Okay. I'm glad they all trust each other. For now. Okay. Okay. It's of course Leorio fell on his face, of course. Oh, or maybe not. Well, yeah. Now what? In the same space. Oh. Uh-oh. I wouldn't have immediately put those on your wrist. Oh, hi, Prison Warden Lipo. Did you get that bag of chips from Light Yagami? Okay. Okay, so who's our fifth? Watch it be Hisoka. I vaguely remember this, but I don't remember who the fifth person is. But she only has 71 hours. Um. Oh my god. Okay, so it's been 2 hours almost. Ha! I like they switched the skateboard and the fishing pole. Which means that whoever comes down might be a bad person to help them. Oh, look. Oh, Tomba. Wow. Tampa. They're so not excited at all. Oh, wow. I mean, yeah. Tampa. Sure you did. Sure it was a mistake, but is it? Yeah, I don't trust him. Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, bitch. I wonder if the I on his shirt stands for imposter. Ooh. Uh-huh. Then, yeah, who chose? Oh. Huh. Ha! Gone's like, I just thought it'd be fun. Uh-oh. Oh my God. Oh, wow. Huh. A cloak on top of another cloak. Okay. I feel in this series, though, muscles mean nothing. An old man just, like, wrecked these kids, and he was just playing dodgeball with them. Uh-huh. I keep wanting to call Tampa Tamba. Gomes like, why are they prisoners? Oh, that's fun. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh. Uh-huh, because they've only got so many hours to get to the bottom. Yep. It's only been like 10 minutes. Well, that's good. It's only been 10 minutes. Oh, wow. Hmm. Uh, you're probably going to instantly lose. But you're just going to buy time. Well, that's suspicious in itself. He's just going to buy freaking time. No. I would have said no. I'd be seeing what was in that purse. I'm sorry, messenger bag. Yeah, he's going to buy a bunch of time. Oh, shit. Uh-uh. Oh. Well, oh. I thought maybe it was an ability, but it really isn't. But what? Oh my God. Wow. Maybe give me a second. I mean, that's just as bad. Oh my God. Oh shit. Wow. Oh, I'd have thrown him off. Boop. Yipes. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. Wow. Uh-huh. What a miserable person you have to be to do that. Oh, Tampa. Or like watching them get murdered? Okay. Ooh. Save it. Save it. Uh-huh. Mm. Wow. That was one of the possibilities I took into consideration. Yikes. Oh. I forget who faces this person. Oh! Never judge a book by its cover. Exactly. Oh. Sweet little Gone. Oh my gosh. This series is going to beg me to binge watch it, isn't it? This is going to beg me to binge watch. I figured Killua would go up against them. Oh my gosh. Oh wow. Only 39 remain. So basically, well, the one guy's gone, and the two guys were killed on the airship. Which we're going to talk about it. No one commented about the guys dying on the airship. No one commented about that. We're going to talk about that. I might go back and look at the CD for the spoiler corner. Might be doing that, I think. Ahsoka looks terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. What a bop. What a bop. Oh my God, y'all. Well, that was an intriguing set of episodes. We're not bringing White up for this one. I don't think we need White for this one. We might need them next week if we're going to break down the prison battles, I feel. But it's so bizarre when you watch something a long time ago and you don't really remember what happened. And then as you start to rewatch it, you're like, I kind of remember this, but I don't remember what happened. I just remember little bits and pieces. Episode 7, I only remembered that Killua was confronted by those two guys. I did not remember Killua killing them. So that was like we did do that. Okay. But I do remember them confronting him on the airship. And then he was like, but then Killua, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that indeed. The only thing I remember from episode 8 is I remember that they were at the tower, and that was, I guess I had forgotten it was the third phase, but we're on the tower. And then that Tompa was going to betray them somehow, but how he betrayed them did not come to light until we watched this episode, so that was interesting. But yeah, let's go ahead and bring up the screenshots and walk through these episodes, and then we'll have the spoiler corner and do all that, and we're going to do that for episodes 7 and 8 here in 3, 2, 1, ba-bum. So, yeah, let's get into this past the OP. This episode called Showdown on the Airship. The moment I heard that episode title, I was like, okay, so the showdown, I thought the showdown was going to be between Killua and the two guys. No, it was really Nereta, and Gon and Killua. I forgot all about that. Forgot that even happened. But you know what? Old men in anime are like a dime a dozen. How many old man mentor figures? Although I wouldn't call Nereta a mentor figure at all, really, to be fair. Looking at our cast of characters, the two that look like they are from Yu Yu Hakusho are still here with the turbans. They're still around. The Amori, they're still around. Hanzo's still around. Disco Daddy is still around. I think I forget his name. Killua and all our main crew. Monkey Man is still here. The suspicious ones that were with Tompa, the veterans, they're there. Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, who meets Ariel, is still here. And then conveniently, Hisoka and Hellraiser, who have been sharing walkie-talkies with one another, are still here too. So just do with that with what you will. Love beans. Frickin' beans. Absolutely. He's like, oh yeah, Nerel's like, I meant to be here in the final phase, but here we are. I'm loving the tension in the air. I love as he says that, Killua is like, oh. They are setting up animosity between Killua and Nereto. What a wild thing for an old man to have a rivalry with a small child. But yeah, they are setting up, there's an interesting dynamic afoot between Nereto and Killua and Gon, and we're going to talk about it as we work through this, but this is interesting to me. I'm very intrigued by it. We'll get back to this episode thing. So yeah, Tompa again. Tompa trying to like get them all riled up and make them stay up nervous all night. Doesn't work. I feel like, you know, it might have worked on Leorio, but Leorio was just too like exhausted to care. So he's just like, no, I'm out. I feel like Kurapika's like, nah, it seems pretty legit. They actually said that, you know, we could be at ease. So I don't think the third phase is on this airship. But to be fair, if I were in their shoes and Tompa had said that, I probably would have taken some of it into stock because of the ship from episodes 1 and 2, but you know, I feel like at this point there is a little bit more structure to the exams at least, right? So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Also, I feel like Kurapika doesn't trust Tompa, so anytime he says something, he's like, nah, I think we're good. It's super cute. And I think it's even cuter how, like, Leorio passes out there and immediately Kurapika's like, aw. I'm like, my shipper heart was very full with some Leorio and Kurapika moments. I was like, yes, you look at you two already becoming best friends. I absolutely love it, along with Killua and Gon. That's just so good. So I honestly really like when anime and stories in general, do scenes like this, where it's the 3 examiners that we've seen so far. The one examiner, Lippo the game warden or the prison warden, he doesn't seem as congenial and likely to do something like this as these 3 do. I mean, Satotes is not going to say no to gourmet food. That Mater D is not going to say no to some gourmet food. And you know he's like, I'm a foodie like you two. Let's all get together and hash things out and just see what's been going. I would love to be on the couch with them. They would be so much fun. Also, Buharu and Minchi, totally shipping. Totally shipping. I love them together. You can tell that she respects him. He respects her. Ship it. Satotes is like, I'm just going to have my little creme brulee and just enjoy this. I freaking love scenes like this. I love them breaking it down. Interestingly, we have Minchi thinks that Hanzo is the one to watch. And I was like, girl, you just crushing on him. You just totally crushing on him. And then interestingly, Satotes' pick is Killua, which is interesting. I don't think he's unfounded there. And Buharu is like, no, the one to watch is Hisoka. He's like, he's just got a knack to him. He's the one that I favor. I'm sure you've noticed. But when 255, which was Toto, was throwing a fit, he was the one on the verge of killing someone. Yeah, I like the little, if we get it right here, let's see if we get it. It's like a little lick where he like, meh, just like licks as he's barely restraining himself. Yeah, he did that little lick. Ugh. But yeah. I mean, Hisoka is the one to watch. He's the one with the killing aura. But definitely not Minchi's taste at all. She's like, he kept challenging me. And Satotes is like, girl, I was there too. Satotes is like, he challenged me. Did he throw cards at your head and tried to kill you? No? Okay, cool. I love them hashing it out and talking about their experiences. It's really super cool here. So meanwhile, like, you know, everybody else is sleeping. Gon and Killua are fighting an old man for a dodgeball. And Hisoka is like making a house of cards that he's just gonna knock over himself. He's just killing time. I do like this conversation they bring up about, as hunters, we are continually seeking out rivals. That was the one aspect I almost brought Whiteboard Coon out, but it's really the only thing, so the rest of it we can hash it out. But that's something to add to the mix. It's adding to, why are people hunters? Like Kurapika's like, they're hunters to protect the peace. Leorio's like, they're hunters to gain money. People are hunters to get access to information or access to transportation and the ability to go anywhere. People are hunters so that they can that they can have insider trading information no one else does. But this brings out another aspect of being a hunter, which is constantly seeking out rivals. And the thing about it is, there is a Dragon Ball Z-esque element to this where it's, because in Dragon Ball Z, which I don't feel bad spoiling a little bit of Dragon Ball Z because that show's been around for so long and it's iconic. But the main character is all about, he wants to fight people. He doesn't necessarily want to fight them out of malice. He doesn't want to fight them to hurt them. He wants to fight them because he likes a challenge, and he wants to find rivals to help make him stronger and help gain new perspectives and things like that. And I get that same vibe with Gon. Gon, like, we'll talk about him and Netero battling each other, but Gon kind of has that same vibe. And Hisoka, to an extent, has a similar vibe, where Hisoka does want to seek out people who are strong out of curiosity, which is similar to Gon, interestingly enough. But Hisoka's ulterior motives with that are a little bit more nefarious. They are a little bit more dark, a little bit or more filled with malice. So that part's interesting. Hisoka has, especially after episode 7, Hisoka has an air that's sort of like a mix between Killua and Gon, oddly enough. So it's like, But yeah, they talk about this idea that as hunters, we seek out rivals, and the hunter exam is ultimately a place to find opponents worthy of respect, which does, again, add another layer to the whole thing about hunters, because you would think it's an organization of people working together for various means, but there's an aspect that kind of hints that it's not. And so it's like, ethical red flag? We shall see. And Satotes is like, yeah, when things try to slow down, they hit the ground running. An oddball of sorts. If Satotes and the others are calling Hisoka an oddball, that should be concerning. That should be where you go, And I feel like, Gon is Hisoka if he hadn't lost hope. maybe. But yeah, maybe we'll see where it goes. I love the imagery, though, with Hisoka of him just knocking the cards down. And he's just getting gleeful about it. And then the Joker card is the last to fall. Quit jacking off to playing cards, Hisoka. All right. This thing about them kicking the kids out of the kitchen where they have just like the meat in their mouths is adorable. Again, like I said in the reaction, I just picture Killua and Gon, like the two kids in Jurassic Park, eating all the pudding and everything after all the adventures they've been on. That's literally them. So then, yeah, Killua's like, oh, look, Gon, you can see the city. It's like the ground is covered in jewels. There is an interesting contrast here, because we find out later from Killua has a very dark streak inside of him. We're about to talk about that. But Gon, because he's so innocent and he has this like little childlike precociousness to him, he brings out the child in Killua, because both of them are 12. They're both 12 years old. They're still kids. Even though Killua has been trained by the Addams family, aka this family of assassins. That's the vibe that his family is giving me, is the Addams family. Even though he's been trained by the Addams family assassins, Killua is still a kid. And I feel like because of what his parents expect of him, he's not had much of a childhood. And so being around Gon, I think one of the things that draws Killua to Gon is that Gon allows him to be a kid. And allows him, without judgment, to be this child again. And Killua respects that and actually kind of gravitates towards it. Like, this is such a kid moment. Like, the ground, it's covered in jewels. Like, that's such a cute kid moment. I love that. So, yeah. So he's like, hey, I was wondering. And Gon says, where's your mom and dad? Do you have a mom and dad? Gon's like, I'm trying to find my dad, who's kind of a deadbeat, but maybe not. Who knows? What about your parents? Do you have a mom? Do you have a dad? And this gets our conversation started. He's like, oh, well, they're alive. Probably. So alive probably means that his parents as assassins are probably out on missions a lot. And so they're probably out on a mission now, and he doesn't know if they're alive or not, but they probably are, probably are okay. And Gon's like, what do they do? And he says, they're assassins. And the thing is, Gon says, oh, both of them? Just, the fact that his parents are assassins doesn't faze Gon at all. He's like, okay, cool. Are they both assassins? And that's such he treats that question with such seriousness, and Killua is kind of just touched by it. Where he's like, that's your first reaction? You are a riot. I love that Killua loves the fact that Gon doesn't judge him. He's like, you're the first person who's ever responded seriously. And I'm sure that, if a kid just says, oh, my parents are assassins, I could see some adults not taking him seriously, but Gon 100% does. He's like, well, you're telling the truth, right? Gon's like, why would you lie to me? And he's like, what makes you think that? And he's like, oh, just a hunch. I mean, Gon seems like a pretty good judge of character, and he kind of would know if he's lying or not. He's like, people only like me because they can't ever tell when I'm serious. And Gon's like, well, that's not me. I'm from a family of assassins. They're all assassins. And my family has really high hopes for me. There's a little bit, I love Killua as a character. There's this melancholy on his face in this panel, with the upturned, kind of ghost of a smile, where he's like, they have really high hopes for me. They think I'm very talented. And they've been training me to be this assassin, with the poisons from a few episodes ago and all of that. He's like that all comes into play now. He's like, yeah, they really want me to be this lead assassin. And he's like, but I can't stand it. Killua is basically Princess Jasmine from Aladdin. Jasmine has to, you've got to marry a suitor, but I don't want any of them. You've got to become an assassin, Killua, but I don't want to. Killua is basically Princess Jasmine, who finds this street rat Gon out on the side of the road and decides to run off with him. Just saying. And Gon's dad is the Prince of Thieves. It all makes sense. It all adds up. I mean, tell me I'm wrong. So, but yeah, he can't. And I think that what Killua is plagued with here is something that, not that any other kids I know are training to be assassins, but, if you have a family business and you've been raised to inherit the family business, there's a lot of pressure with that. And then what if you don't want to do that, right? I've seen a lot of students before whose parents are lawyers or doctors, and they're like, oh, I need to inherit the family business, or they run a business and they're expected to get the same degree. And it's like, no, I mean, my parents asked if I wanted to raise pigs as a living, and I was like, no. So it's not, your parents' profession is not necessarily for you. And Killua was like, who wants to have their life planned out for them? The funny thing about this is that here you have Killua, who's like, I don't want my life planned out for me, and I feel like my family is trying to do that, and I want to get away from that. I want to find another route that's my own. And then you have Gon, who, even though Mito has been trying to raise Gon up as someone that doesn't have to follow a plan, we've talked in the discussions about how it's very convenient that Jing put Gon on this island where all of these training methods were just right there for him. So what's interesting is maybe Gon's life is being planned out for him and he doesn't realize it yet. Maybe him and Killua are more alike than they seem and they don't realize it yet. Or if it's not the case, maybe Gon and Killua are very different and opposite, and that makes it interesting too, He's like, when I told them I wanted to decide my own future, they all snapped. I like that Killua has this little moment where he has this little outburst as a kid. He's like, my parents got so mad. He's like, my mother had tears streaming down her face as she told me I have the potential to be a top assassin. And Gon's like, horrible, right? And I like that Gon is like, I wouldn't know. I don't have a mom. I just have an Aunt Mito. But yeah, honestly, the first part about this story just seems very normal. He's like, my mom was crying saying I would be a top assassin. How horrible of her, right? That part seemed fine. But then this next part, he's like, it's natural their kid would go bad. So we ended up fighting. And I stabbed my mother in the face and my brother in the side. We're going to talk about that in the spoiler corner. And ran away from home. And I'm sure they're out for blood now. So Killua basically stabbed his mom and brother and ran away from home. And then he ran into the Hunter exam and into Gon. Again, that's where him and Gon are very different, because Gon would probably never touch Mito in any way, shape, or form that would hurt her. And then Killua's like, oh, we just do that for funsies. That's why they're like the Addams family. They're just hurting each other for fun. If they find me, I'll send them packing. And so then Killua, I like the animation style changes. Literally, the animation style looks more like Sailor Moon in this moment, which maybe there was something to that. I'll start by capturing my family once I'm a hunter. And I'm sure they'll be worth some hefty bounties. So this is something that I think we can like put a little pin in for the future. And again, there's only a certain point that I am at this series, and then I don't know what happens at the end. But the idea of Killua becoming a hunter, like a bounty hunter, to track down his family and turn them in, I mean, that's almost kind of perfect. It's almost kind of perfect, because we're going to talk about the assassins in this very soon. We're going to talk about assassins when we get to Nereto, because I think Nereto views Killua very dangerously, as he should. But I feel like the idea of Killua becoming a hunter, I don't think his family want him to become hunters. I think they want him to become an assassin. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But I love the idea of Killua being like, oh, I'm going to be a hunter, a bounty hunter, and then I'm going to hunt you all down and get money's worth for being terrible parents, and because I don't want to be an assassin. And there is something to that, because, you know, they just said being a hunter is about finding worthy opponents and about finding rivals. Well, what better for Killua than his own family? There's something to that. I like Gon's in the background with the sweat drop, like, you doing that to your family? So then Nereto shows up, and he sees, the first one he sees is Killua. He notices Killua, and then Gon's talking to him. And he's like, I'm going to mess with these kids. Because adults in this series don't know how to leave these kids alone. And so he uses his hockey, it's from One Piece, to like get their attention. I want to make note, Killua's face here, Killua's face is like, I'm going to murder you right now. That was a murder face. That was, are you putting Gon in danger? I like how Killua is instantly protective of Gon in this. Because, not only because they're like the construction of a ship. We're not shipping yet. They're still kids. But I feel like Gon has already kind of like latched onto Gon. Killua has latched onto Gon like a koala, because he's like, oh, I'm going to latch onto you because you're the first person to treat me like a normal kid. And I really respect that. And I want to be friends with you. Let's keep that going. So Killua, like that moment where he looks up like, are you threatening Gon? He's already protective of Gon, and I'm 1,000 times here for it. We're going to talk about it in this. But yeah, so Killua recognizes, he's like, game meets game. He's like, you moved over there super quick, didn't you? He's like, when did he move? Is this a little trick? And he's like, oh, I barely moved. I mean, there's a reason Nereto is the president of the selection committee. To think that he's a regular old hunter is, I feel like, severely underestimating him. Right. So he makes this challenge to the boys. I'll play ball with you. If you can get the ball from me, then you instantly pass the hunter exam. Netero. There we go. Netero. And it seems very simple, but nothing in Hunter x Hunter is simple ever. He's like, we've got till 8 a.m. He's like, I'll never touch you all. But Nereto said he would never touch them. Technically, he did with Gon at the end. He technically touched him by throwing him up against the wall. So did Nereto lose by his own rules and just didn't say anything because Gon passed out? Because Gon just wanted him to use the right hand? I don't know. We'll see. I feel like that might come back later on. Maybe. I would hope it would come back in the series, but... Now, let's talk about this. So Killua says he's looking down on me. Yeah. Here's the thing. The Hunter organization is established to be like the reputable, we're going to put reputable in quotation marks, the reputable association that gets you all the access, gets you all the money, gets you all the resources. It's the Billionaires Club, but it's treated as official and treated as a boon for the world, right? So it's looked upon favorably, even though we've already talked about how there's some ethical red flags going on that nobody seems to want to talk about, but we're pinning them for now. But I think it's clear that Nereto does not like assassins. And you can kind of get that because if the hunter organization is here and recognized as the like de facto good guys in hot heavy quotation marks, then I would assume they would treat assassins, because they're different than hunters. Assassins are probably viewed on a lower rank to them. He even calls them the underworld, and I don't think he was just saying that for Gon's benefit, not to like lower it down to like a kid's level. I genuinely think that Nereto looks down upon assassins. He does not think that they are as good as hunters, and he thinks that they're second rate and that they're probably like thieves or low lifes or whatever, even if they are a sophisticated unit of assassins. I imagine Killua is not from a ditch, the way he presents himself. So it's clear Nereto is looking down on Killua and is maybe concerned that Killua, I bet Nereto has his assumptions that Killua is from an assassin family because he instantly picks up on the assassin technique that he uses, and he's looking down on Killua because he's like, oh, I don't know if I want you to be a hunter because you're from a shady underbelly of society that I don't know if I want you advanced up into the hunter position. So I don't know if that's going to come into play later on. I don't remember if it does, but it would be interesting because, they said in here, if an examiner doesn't want to pass you, they won't. So will they pass Killua or not if he suspects that he's from that assassin family? I love the assassin move. But here's the other thing. Gon later on asks Nereto, he's like, oh, what was that cool move that Killua used? You seem to know about it. And Nereto's like, oh, that's an assassin move. It's used by those in the underworld. You don't need to learn it, and you shouldn't learn it. I think Nereto already has his suspicions about Killua, and he considers maybe some of his moves underhanded, and maybe doesn't trust the assassins, but he doesn't want Gon to be imitating them. I'm curious about that. Super curious. So yeah, and then they just start playing this dodgeball game with old Nereto, and it's so cool to see some of the moves that Killua used with the skateboard being used in this moment. That part was really cool. I liked Gon throwing the shoe at Nereto. That was really fun as well. And yeah, Nereto's like, if it had been an ordinary person, that would have shattered my leg. I feel like these hunters have the ability to like add a barrier around their body to strengthen it. I wonder if Nereto has this ability to add a barrier to his body where you, like your moves, it's almost like an armor. I'm getting into like One Piece logic here where it's like an armor where you can like make it to where your body is impervious to basic punches and stuff. I would not be surprised if he's been able to do that. Wouldn't be surprised at all. But yeah, Gon is very simple. Honestly, if Gon had not had a ceiling to worry about, he would have got that damn ball. Probably in one move. And we would have had, it's like the meme where it's like Hunter x Hunter was this long. And it's like if Hunter x Hunter hadn't hit the ceiling in episode 7, this would have been the series and its length. Because he would have instantly become a hunter. Crazy talk. Now, I honestly don't know how many phases are in this exam. I don't remember. They said they're in phase exam 3 right now. And we know this arc, which I'm assuming is the exam arc, is 26 episodes. So, I mean, I would assume there's at least phase 4, but I don't remember, to be honest. Yeah, the old man relaxed his guard. I love how Killua pouts there. Even as serious as he is later, he's still a kid. So meanwhile, we have this scene where everybody's sleeping. I like the one guy here, number 45, is sleeping with his spear at his side, ready to slice him up. And then Tampa's like, it's like Christmas morning. Tampa's like, I'm going to go check on these two. Damn it, they're not making out. But they're all like little cute burritos. Our little yaoi burritos bundled up there. Super cute. Also, the height difference between Kurapika and Leorio. I'll stop now. But yeah, it's super cute. So right now it is 1:10 a.m. How these kids have all this energy to be young and have that much energy again, I swear. I did think it was kind of cool that Nereto and Gon have opposite color tank tops underneath their like outer layer. I don't know if that's speaking of their character or not. It's symbolism. It could be symbolism to be sure, but... And then, yeah, Killua has the blue. Like, I also like how Killua's clothes, he has like a long sleeve shirt and like the jorts, like the long legged pants. Like, I feel like Killua runs cold, which would, make sense. But yeah, everything about this encounter, if you've seen Dragon Ball Z, everything, it's like if Master Roshi fought Goten in Trunks, is basically what this scene gives me. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. So I like the scene a lot. It was cute. I also, in my head, here's the thing that I had. In my head, I kept thinking that this was going to be Nereto telling them that if they didn't get the ball from him, they were kicked out of the hunter exam. They automatically failed if they didn't get the ball from him. I thought that he was going to say that, but he didn't. So I guess this really was just him passing the time. But there was a small part of me that was like, is he going to try to disqualify them in this episode? But he didn't, so whatever. And then as soon as Killua realizes that because here's the thing, Nereto gears up, takes off, gets his step. The moment that Killua looks over and sees the hole in the ground, the moment that he looks over and sees where Netero like spring launched himself towards the ball, the moment Killua saw that, he's like, oh, this guy's just playing with us. He's not even trying. And if he did try, we would be in a lot of trouble. So this isn't worth my time. I'm going to go get some sleep. And then honestly, one thing I really love about Gon and Killua and their dynamic is that Gon's like, well, I want to try to like get him to use his right hand. I'm going to play a little longer. He's like, we only used up half the time limit. He's like, before the time runs out, I'm going to do it. I like that Gon's like, come on, I'm going to keep playing him. I'm kind of curious to see what all he can do. Like Gon's curiosity is adorable, innocent, and kind of like just infectious. One thing I love about the dynamic between him and Killua already is that when Gon's like, hey, I'm going to stick around and do this, or hey, I'm going to do that, Killua not only trusts Gon and knows he'll be safe and is like, okay, cool, you do you, man. But Killua also respects Gon and he's like, okay, cool, I'm going to head out and go do my own thing. And that's kind of rare to see because sometimes, you know, you get the dynamic of the dark-haired, light-haired protagonist duo and they each are like worried when one is separated. They're like, I hope they're all right. I hope they didn't goof up. I hope they're not making a dumb decision. But I like in this series that right off the bat, Killua and Gon have this like trust. They're like, I got you, man. We got this. We're going to be okay. You do your thing. I'll go do mine thing. Like, I freaking love that right off the bat. We love main characters with boundaries. And he's like, how'd Killua do that thing where he walks away slowly? And Netero like squints his eyes like Fry style from Futurama. That's a technique for those engaged in underground work. Uh-huh. That's beyond our borders. You must never go there, Simba. Is basically the vibe that you get from there. You have no need to learn it. In fact, you should not learn it. He's like, but it's amazing, right? He's like, well, it requires an intense amount of training. He's like, wow, Killua's really something. Netero doesn't say what kind of training. I think that was one other thing, too. We don't know much about the assassins yet. We don't know much about Killua's backstory. The fact that Killua said he stabbed his mom and brother without, like, hesitating suggests that Killua's been through a lot of stuff for a 12-year-old, a lot of violence, and a lot of training. And I feel like Netero's saying, no, you don't need to train like that. Gon has no idea what this kid has been through, which is interesting. And then Gon's like, I'm going to try to get it. And he's like, no, you fool. It's adorable. So this scene is the one I remembered and I was waiting for. And that's 390 and 391. You both done goofed. You both done goofed. And then Killua's like, damn it, now I'm in a bad mood. He's like, I'm in a bad mood already. Also, like, let Killua walk through the hall with his shirt off. Just let him do it. He's like, I guess there's nothing for it. Like, Killua's just in a bad mood. He's mad he didn't win. He's a sore loser. Whenever a kid gets the anime hair over the eyes look, just leave him alone. Don't mess with him. Don't do it. You know it's not going to end well. And so, yeah, these guys are just like, hey, you bumped into... Hey, Hisoka already set the precedent back in phase 1. Did you not pay attention? Were you not watching when the guy got dismembered? Don't bump into people. Just let him go. Yeah, so they thought they were going to get him. And the thing that got me is the moment they got close to Killua. And, okay, they put their hand on him. And there's a flash. Yeah. And then just blood goes everywhere. We don't know what Killua did. Wasn't good. Wasn't good. Yeah, and then that arm with the... Okay, Look, without spoiling Yu Yu Hakusho, that's a Yu Yu Hakusho move. That is the only words I will say is that is a Toguro move. That is 100% a Togashi Toguro move. If I've ever seen one. Or a Kurama. Or I'm gonna stop there. Or hey. I'm just gonna stop there. I could go on and on. But that's a move. No, it'd probably be more hey. Honestly, yeah, Killua's more like him. Yeah. Anyway, that's a very Yu Yu Hakusho move. Also, Killua having this, like, grizzly claw his hands become. Okay. He's like, if I hadn't stopped then, I might have ended up killing that old man to get the ball. So Killua establishes that Killua's got a dark side. He's like, I might have killed that old man to get the ball, and I didn't want to do that in front of Gon, my precious friend, because I don't want Gon to think bad of me. So here's my thing. My takeaway from this entire moment is at the very end of episode 8, there's only 39 players left. There were 42. So players 41 and 42 were killed by Killua. And then player 40 was killed by the monster when he tried to, like, rock climb down. So now there's 39 people left. The monster hunter, like, the monster exam, or the hunter exam rather, the hunter exam didn't stop, and they were like, oh, hey, these guys died. They just, like, wheeled them off stage and, like, tossed them from the airship and been like, let's go cremate them and be gone with it. The fact that the hunter exam and the committee saw these 2 dead bodies in the floor and just were like, well, there you go. They guess they just died before we got there. Ethical red flags, y'all. The fact that no ethical red flags were raised, and maybe Netero saw this and is like, we'll just talk about it later. I don't know. Do they have cameras on this airship? Who knows? This is like the first moment I was like, okay, Killua, you 12-year-old little psychopath. All right, let's go. Meanwhile, Gon, the picture of innocence, is just fighting his hardest to challenge Netero. And I freaking love it. I think that there is something to be said about the fact that Gon headbutted Netero and then made Netero choose whether to break Gon's skull or to back away. It's basically fight, flight, or freeze. If Netero froze, then Gon was going to get the ball. If he fought, Gon was going to die. Or he could fly and get Gon out of the way, and he chose fly. I think there's something to that. Obviously, it's the idea of Gon pushing people to their limits, because Gon is just playing. But Netero's like, oh, I don't want to kill you, kid. And there's a little bit about Gon not caring whether he got his skull crushed or not that worries me. About Gon, I'm like, oh, Gon, we need a little bit more self-preservation, my dude. But I think that's interesting that he made Netero fly. That's interesting. He's like, I don't want to be the one suffering and I don't want to kill his kid. Also, can we talk about this one moment? I'm going to play it for you all. We're going to talk about this one moment right here where he just sits up, springs up like a little daisy out of the ground. What a freaking adorable little kid. That's the most adorable 2 seconds of Gon we've had in this whole series yet. How could you not love him after that moment? How could you not think he's the most precious little angel baby? How could you not love Gon? How could you not? I don't know if Gon is my favorite character because I love Killua so much, and there's a couple other characters I really like. I love Gon to pieces. He's not my favorite, but you cannot, like, I would protect Gon with my life. He's just so adorable. And then he's just like, I got you to use your right hand. I did it. And then boop, passed out. And Netero's like, okay, piqued my interest, kid. I don't think Netero respects Killua. I think he looks down on Killua. I think he judges Killua, and he's kind of knows Killua's dangerous. I feel like he probably would give Hisoka the same vibe. But with Gon, he's like, you're all right, kid. I respect your tenacity. I respect your, like, honest sportsmanship. I respect that a lot. We'll see where that goes, but I think that this episode's interesting because it's like Nereto developing a kind of affinity for Gon and a wariness of Killua, and Nereto's the committee leader of the hunter exam, so will that have any bearing in the future? I don't know. I don't remember, so we'll see. Also, what technology, where it's like the landline phone in the airship, If you are under the age of 30, you won't know what this is, but this is a landline phone. It's in an airship. What fascinates me is there's still some hotels today that have phones inside the bathroom and stuff. Wild times. What a wild time. But yeah, so the airship approaches the site of the fourth exam. So we're going to go back to that and talk about that episode before we get to the spoiler corner. But we arrive at the fourth examination site. Beans is freaking amazing. Love him. He's great. This exam site, I wanted to talk about something too with the exam site here, because I wanted to mention Donmai. I was going to bring that up too. I watch on this channel, every Monday is like Donmai Monday. If you don't know what a Donmai is, it's a Chinese, usually fantasy romance, but it's usually also a BL. Love Donmai. But one thing about them is they're often grounded in like fantasy action, which is a lot of fun. And in many of them, the thing that kind of gets me is it's a narrative trope I've noticed is that, and I'm seeing it already in Hunter x Hunter, is that they go and revisit similar types of areas and just redo challenges in different ways, but in a similar environment. And what I mean by that is like we had the marsh episode, but then we went to this like clearing to go find the pigs for the cooking, and the area was kind of the same. Then we had the split in half mountain. Now we're back on another like kind of hillside. It's, you know, it's not like a Sonic the Hedgehog game where you have one, it's like lava level and then casino nights. It's like, no, we've got a few grassy hilltop zones we got to go through. It is kind of like Sonic 2. You start out in grassy hilltop zone, then you go back to it later. Similar, but I just thought that the area and atmosphere vibes of this series are reminding me of a Donmai in a good way. So yeah. So everybody all arrives up here. Beans, freaking love Beans. Look at him. So cute. And so they're like, we're going to begin here. I'm not a big fan of Lipo. Lipo is okay. He's sitting there trying to be Light Yagami with his potato chips. And it's like trying to be the Truman Show here. But he's basically got all access to all of the areas. Oh, if you look over here in the corner, you can already see all the fight zone areas. So maybe there's several of them. And they've all got to fight with the prisoners. Interesting. I don't remember much about Lipo, and I don't remember anything about his two henchmen. I remember nothing about this part of his role in all this. I vaguely remembered that there was a reason you couldn't just climb down the tower. I did not remember that these creatures that straight up look like they're out of Berserk come up and eat you. What a bizarre thing. But yeah, I think it's kind of ingenious that the trap doors on the top, there were all these trap doors and they only rotate for one person and then they don't work anymore. My question with that is, what if they had more than 39 people that made it there? What if like the original 400 made it? I mean, you know that's not going to be the case, but what if like a whole bunch had made it and you didn't have enough trap doors for everyone? Would everybody else have just been screwed and it'd be a scramble to see who could get into the tower first? And then they would just like come back with the airship and be like, oh, hey, you guys good to go back since you didn't pass? I don't know. They clearly are assuming there wouldn't be that many to reach this stage, which is interesting. Also, I want to comment on Leorio. Leorio's outfit here. Big fan of the white button-up. He's gotten rid of the tie, gotten rid of the jacket. Although it does look like his morning after outfit. I feel like Leorio is doing the walk of shame with his briefcase now. Like, tuck your shirt in, son. Like, just clearly 19 years old. Yep, Kurapika got themselves cleaned up. I want to know what's in Kurapika's bag. I want to know what's in Leorio's briefcase. All this. I want to know what's in your purse. Hunter x Hunter edition. So yeah, so Gon and Killua figure it out. They all decide that they're each going to go separate ways. I'm glad that it wasn't just immediately a trap door, because that would have sucked if you got like, you know, the trap door and one of you lucked out and the other didn't. So basically everybody has to follow the will of the majority to reach the goal. All right. And they have 72 hours to get it accomplished. And by the time they made it to that room, they basically spent 40 minutes on the rooftop looking for a way in before they had gotten to this next phase, right? Tompa, in my mind, the moment he got down there with them, I was like, Tompa's going to sabotage all of this. That's his goal. I'm glad we got some explanation with Tompa by the end of this episode, which we'll talk about here in a second. But yeah, so we have the prisoners. And man, Lipo looks like if one of the Bowser kids from Super Mario Brothers 3 became human. He was like if Ludwig or something became human. That's basically his design. So yeah, so Tampa comes down. Leorio being, I'm so curious about Leorio's character. Maybe Leorio will always be the type that is the first to freak out, but he usually is the first to have like a reaction with things, and he's usually like the most impatient of the group, right? And he really doesn't trust Tampa at all. So yes, they managed to get to this part here. I vaguely remember that they battled. I know that they battle on this platform, but I don't remember who wins, and I don't remember who fights who. I really don't. I remember this part here, but I don't know how much I paid attention to this part. I just know that they fought here. I didn't even remember how they got to the middle yet until the little thing came out. So it's going to be fun to go back and see how this worked out for them, because I don't remember it, right? I don't remember it. I don't even remember this guy. I don't remember. And the guy that Gon fought, I thought Killua fights him. So I am useless for predicting at this point, because I do not remember unless my memory is just playing tricks, right? Now, for example, when Tampa's like, oh, I'll go fight this guy, for some reason in my head, I was like, oh, Tampa's going to get over there with him, and then they're going to decide on what type of match to do, and Tampa's just going to stall for time and just try to run the clock out until there's no time left. That's what I thought was going to happen. Luckily for Tampa, he agrees to the death match and then agrees to give up immediately, because Killua does make a good point that this guy was probably just going to torture him to death. And Tampa's like, oh, that's a great thing I chose what I did. See? So, interesting. But yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember who fights who. I don't remember how this works. For some reason in my head, I want to say that whatever they decide, for some reason in my head, I want to feel like somehow a lot of time is wasted and it runs down the clock, but I don't remember how. I don't remember how. Something happens that's going to make this a bit challenging, but I can't remember. I also think it's an interesting, I want to talk about as well, because he says, if we can keep you here, then 72 years of our sentence is going to be up. So for him, now granted, he had nearly a 200-year sentence. So taking just 70 years off is 130-year sentences, which unless these people in this series live way longer than the typical human, which right now is like, 100 years at the max, maybe 120, then what's the point? Unless you keep doing this same activity every year for the exam and take more years off, I guess. But they change the exam site every year, so that's not even guaranteed. I mean, I guess it shows how desperate they are, that they're desperate to have their sentence reduced. Also, with that being said, want to talk about that for a hot second. About that for a hot second. So this guy, his whole thing was that he had been wanted for murder, right? He had been wanted for robbery and murder for 200 years. That was this guy. And he's got the 200-year sentence, so he's trying to hold back. If we're talking about ethical red flags, Killua just killed 2 people. 2 people on AIRSHIP for no reason except they jumped him after he bumped their shoulders. Is Killua facing any jail time? No. And then you have Hisoka, who killed an examiner. Is Hisoka facing any jail time? No. They let him take the hunter exam again, knowing that he killed a man. Is he in prison? No. So there is a little ethical quandary in this series, because he got put in jail for robbery and murder, and yet we already know 2 of the hunters, the would-be hunters taking this exam, have murdered people right out in the open and are facing no repercussions for them. And then you have the guy that's facing Gon, who did supposedly stealth bombings. Sure. Then I'm like, well, some of the stuff that we're seeing happen, I'm like, yeah, like him. I feel like I've seen people like him in real life, honestly. Although I could cosplay as him. We have literally the same hair. I just think it's interesting. He has Sedokan has a 449 for serial bombings. I'm just saying is a little bit of an ethical quandary when you have hunters who could steal things. What if the gourmet hunters steal like a precious fruit or something from a place to find for a gourmet meal? What if them damn spiders were endangered species? We just stole a bunch of their eggs for an exam. Did we check? No, because we are the authority. The hunters are the authorities by the organization. So there's a weird, like, little ethical quandary. The series doesn't bring it up at all yet, but I'm like, it's interesting that you have these prisoners, but then you also have people taking the hunter exam who have literally done the same crimes and have faced zero repercussions. So, okay. We're just going to have to put a pin in that and hold on to it. But yeah, so then Tampa says the whole reason he does this exam is because he wants to shatter the dreams of rookies. He's like, I'm not even playing anymore. He's like, I'm doing it for the thrills. You know, he puts Sia on and gets his cheap thrills, and that's enough for him. I would be mad like Leorio. I'd be like, well, it's not a game to us. Why are you stalking us? Go find other people to ruin their careers. Like, leave us alone. And that's that. So yeah, of course, Gon volunteers. I really thought Killua would face this person, but I'm going to be curious to see what Gon ends up doing. I'm going to be very curious. So I'm being legit, y'all. I don't remember how this goes. I do not remember where this takes us. But I'm super excited to see what's going to happen next week. So I do want to talk a little bit in spoiler corner land. So if you are sticking around for the spoiler corners, I will be very curious to let you know about some things and see what you think about some of the spoiler things I'm thinking of. But otherwise, if you're not sticking around for spoilers, thank you so much for watching episodes 7 and 8 with me. I'm so excited for 9 and 10. I don't know what's happening at this point, so we're just going to see. So with that being said, if you're not sticking around for spoiler corner, thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my rambles and my reactions, and I'll see you all next week for episodes 9 and 10 of Hunter x Hunter. Okay. So as far as the spoiler corner goes, like I said, I'm glad that we have Killua being an assassin out in the open. I'm glad that that's out in the open. I'm glad I don't have to like skirt around that anymore. I'm so glad. Because I really like Killua and I like the fact that his family are assassins and I like the storyline with that, what I remember of it. So also just gonna say, Illumini and Hisoka, besties, right here. I feel like Killua does not know it's his brother. I feel like when Killua is telling Gon, oh yeah, I stabbed my brother in the side, I feel like that's Illumini that Killua stabbed. So I'm gonna be curious to see if we get anything from that. So also looking at them here, Illumini and Hisoka are literally wearing the same outfit, same snatched waist. Their hairs are red versus blue. Come on, y'all. But yeah, I'm glad that we are setting that up with them in this. I'll be real. I did not remember the Nereto matchup at all. I only remembered that Killua got faced with those guys, but I don't remember him killing them at all. For some reason, I don't remember a lot with Nereto. I'm paying much more attention to him now than I have been in the past. So I'm going to be very curious to see what all we get with his character moving forward. All right, I want to go back and look at some of these shots from the ED with you all. Okay, so yeah. So there's some shots here. We have, setting this up, we have Gon with Jing for whatever reason. We have Leorio and the friend. Okay, now Leorio's an adult in that shot. And the friend there, so he's not a kid, so I wonder what that's about. Okay, Kurapika, we're getting his clan shown right there, so that's getting set up. I don't exactly remember what that's about. We're going to get it. Then we have Killua, who's chained up. I don't remember if that was his family did that or what the case was. I think his family did that, but we're going to see. And then we have Hisoka, who's just absolute chaos. Okay, so that's from the ED. Glad we got that lined up. As far as this one here, I remember them getting to the platform. I do, but I don't remember anything else. I actually really think I graded my papers hard during these episodes because I don't remember much of them. So I remember them getting down to the wire at this point where they almost didn't pass, I think, but I don't remember exactly how we got there. I'm a little like, I don't exactly remember how we got to that point, so I don't quite remember, which is good for you all because that means that how I'm engaging in this series is going to be a surprise up until this point, but and I don't remember how many phases that there are. I know that moment with Killua and Gon and Hisoka has to come at some point, and it's sooner rather than later. I also think at some point part of the exam is they have to go back to the first tower and they have to battle their way up the tower. That arc I remember, battling up the tower. I remember that arc. I remember it's a lot of Killua and Gon moments, and that's really when I connected with their characters and were like, you two are a future ship for me. I love you both. Like, that part I really remember. And I just don't know how long it takes us to get there. I do remember telling my brother that I was like, the first arc feels like a long time through the Hunter exam. And then once we get to that tower, then everything starts to go. And I'm like, yes. It's just getting to that point. But going back, I'll be honest with y'all, going back and watching these episodes, I'm getting way more out of it than I did the first time around. And I'm really enjoying it. So we'll see. I also feel like there's something with those like wristlets. There's something with them. They can't take them off or something happens. I don't think they blow up, but I feel like something happens. So I can't remember that entirely though. So that's going to be interesting. But anyway, those are the spoilers I got. I'm super excited to hear your thoughts down below and what you all thought of these two episodes. But yeah, it's going to be really hard waiting before watching episodes 9 and 10, and I make no promises. Because I just want to go and see what's going to happen next. But anyway, I'm going to try to record some other stuff first because I need to. So in any case, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back very soon with more of Hunter x Hunter, and I'll see you then.